This is the first project presentation for Team D, starring Jeff Gillespie, Robert Green, Antonio Roca, and Robert Steele for SER 315, the B session of the fall 2016 semester. For our project, we have selected project number 6, the Embedded Air Quality Monitoring and Control System for the Smart Home. We've made a few assumptions about our system, the first of which is that users will already have several air quality related systems in their home. This can include things like Nest. It might also include simpler systems such as HVAC. The second set of assumptions that we've made are about the purposes that our system will fulfill. These are gathering data, presenting data to the user, and initiating air quality actions via the other systems. In terms of data, we'll be gathering metrics on things like humidity, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, common allergens, and things like that. And in terms of presenting data to the user, we'll be presenting the data as descriptive statistics, so averages, minimums, maximums, and pretty graphs. We will not be engaging in inferential statistics. Our last set of assumptions is about the technologies that we'll be using in our system. As already mentioned, we'll be working with mobile platforms, so Android, iOS, and the Windows Phone environment. We will not be creating web applications or desktop applications. We also want to support a wide variety of standards and protocols for wireless communication so that we can interface with as many air quality systems as possible. So this will include things like Bluetooth, 802.11, Zigbee, and things like that. Currently displayed is our most recent set of prototypes for our mobile applications user interface. You'll notice that most of these views are data-centric, which we've designed to be as minimalistic as possible to avoid user confusion and also to adhere to good usability heuristics. On the far left we have our home page and the similarly designed device overview page. Each of these pages provide an overall rating of the air quality in the home and also good to know data points for various metrics. So for example, temperature, humidity, and then particulate matter concentration and the like. From each of these pages we can visit the settings page and we can visit a particular devices page which provides more detailed information for each device. And let's actually consider that one next, and that would be the second view right here. There are 4 main components to this page. The first is the room selection screen right here. We can actually swipe to the left or to the right as indicated by these arrows to select different rooms. And then the second component is the main component, and that would be the graphical representation of the data gathered by the devices in a particular room. And again, we can swipe either to the right or to the left to view different sets of data for a particular room. So for example, this might be a particulate matter concentration. If we were to swipe to the right, it might instead display a graphic representing humidity data or something like that. Of course, we also have some textual information for as a description of the data, just so the user understands what they're looking at, and then also the sources so that they understand where this information is coming from. And then the final component is actually a swipe down, which takes us to the third screen over here, which again is more data. This also has several components. Again, we have a room selection component where you can swipe either to the right or to the left. The main component again is graphical, and this would be more like an aggregated aggregation of data view, where we see patterns over time, where this might be the maximum trend line for a particular metric, and this would be the minimum, and along this would be days or something like that. Notice that from each page, the second and third, we can visit the settings page or we can visit the home page. So let's consider the settings page, which is the last page here. This is a pretty straightforward page. It just allows you to do various things. We can add a device. If we were to buy a new one, we can create an account or set the interval of logging. And notice that from the settings page we can also go back to the home page. So this prototype is actually one of 3 that we drew by hand, and this one was voted to be the most appropriate for our application. And in the translation from the hand-drawn version of this to this mock-up version which was done in pencil, we incorporated feedback that we got from a questionnaire that we gave to friends and family, and also the expert opinion that we got from a current software engineer. And currently we are very satisfied with the overall design of our prototype, so we don't plan on changing the major structural components, but we do plan on implementing more feedback regarding how we can present the data to the user, so that the information is more clear to them.
Functionally, our team is on the second iteration of the design process. Our first iteration was the hand-drawn sketches. The second iteration was compilation of that information into the more visual pencil application. The design techniques that we employed during our process were predominantly brainstorming, of course, where we had to come up with what device we would target, the information we wanted to collect, amongst items like that. We employed prototyping, both in sketches and within pencil. That helped us with the additional decisioning of how we wanted to transition within pages. The decisioning process that we employed was a unofficial voting. It was more along the lines of consensus, and it seemed actually very efficient for our team, because when an idea came up that seemed to fit, everybody just immediately went with it. We employed a questionnaire. The questionnaire feedback, our biggest success out of that was that we really needed a home button. We also elicited some feedback from a software expert. That was actually a little bit on the disappointing side, in that the information that we gleaned from that was we were on the right track. Everything that we were doing seemed to be well within the means of a true application. The UCD that we employed was, of course, planning a brainstorming meeting. It was during that process that, of course, we defined the context of use, how we want to use the system, and then we finished that out by defining the user and the business requirements of the application. The team is very pleased with this application as it stands currently. We are happy with our user interfaces, the way the data is being displayed, as well as our page transitions. We feel that it is a fairly straightforward, intuitive application. What we are considering our biggest risks right now are, of course, time, as well as lack of experience. For time, we are all working adults, and as such, most of us are Monday through Friday within different time zones. And we do tend to be very weekend intensive as far as our efforts. And then as far as lack of experience, of course, there's the application side of it, as well as project management. For example, we're concerned that we might be focusing on the wrong items. Well, what we're doing to mitigate that is we're scheduling regularly held meetings and trying to make sure that we are staying focused within the timeline to keep ourselves in place. Going forward, the schedule for the team is to complete our individual techniques by Thursday the 10th. We'll then roll those insights into iteration 2 by Saturday the 12th. We will get that posted to the forums for peer review, and then roll that feedback into iteration 3 by the 17th. At that point, we will be approximately 3 days behind the suggested schedule.